Hi, passionate Rangers FC fans. Welcome to Rangers Update, your dedicated source for all things Rangers. Before we dive in, we want to express our gratitude for your unwavering support. If you bleed blue, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, and let's strengthen our community. Now, let's get into the latest updates. A hearty welcome to our new followers. Your backing means the world to us. WATP, let's get to the news. You won't believe the scenes at Ibrox lately. The tension buzzing like electricity over the terraces as Rangers supporters are reportedly reaching boiling point over the current state of affairs with Russell Martin at the helm. The whispers started quietly, barely audible in the corners of pubs and fan forums. But now they've erupted into something more tangible, more insistent, as if the whole club is holding its breath waiting for a spark to ignite a proper storm. Fans, it seems, are pointing fingers with a pointed accuracy that's both frightening and fascinating, scrutinizing every choice, every substitution, every tactical move Martin has made since taking charge. The recent string of disappointing results has only added fuel to the fire, with murmurs turning into chants on the terraces, as if the collective voice of the supporters is trying to physically push the board into action. Some insist that Martin's approach lacks the edge, the ruthlessness that this historic club demands in its pursuit of silverware, while others whisper that the squad itself isn't fully buying into his philosophy, that the dressing room atmosphere has shifted in ways that are subtle yet unmistakably uneasy. There's also talk of the wider implications for Scottish football, that the Rangers' struggles under Martin are being watched not just locally, but across the UK, with rival fans seizing the chance to mock and speculate endlessly, turning every misstep into a narrative of doom. And in the midst of this, the board's silence speaks volumes, a quiet tension that feels almost performative, as if they're calculating, weighing options, and trying desperately not to react too hastily, while the rumor mill churns relentlessly. Rumors are circulating now like wildfire through every corner of Glasgow, every alleyway where die-hard Rangers fans gather to dissect performances, to relive moments of hope only to end up shaking heads at the latest string of underwhelming displays. The chatter, which once might have been dismissed as mere post-match frustration, now carries an air of inevitability, a suggestion that Martin's tenure is teetering on the edge of something far more dramatic than a mid-season managerial wobble. Social media platforms are ablaze, a cacophony of opinions and hot takes, some vicious, some anxious, all animated by the fear that the club is stagnating when it should be soaring. There's a sense that patience has worn thin, that long-suffering supporters have reached the limits of their understanding, their goodwill stretched over months of inconsistent performances that have failed to match the lofty expectations placed upon a club of Rangers' stature. Inside the stadium, during matches, the tension manifests in the collective groan of fans as yet another chance goes begging, another defensive lapse occurs, or the team struggles to impose itself on opponents it should dominate with authority. Rumor has it that even former players, those once hailed as club legends, are being drawn into the debate, voicing opinions in interviews and on social media, further amplifying the narrative that Martin's position is under unprecedented scrutiny. Critics argue that his tactical decisions, while perhaps sound on paper, have failed to translate to results, and that the team's identity, once so unmistakable, now appears fragmented and hesitant. The media, always eager for a story, has jumped in with relentless intensity, dissecting each fixture, each lineup choice, each post-match comment, adding layers of speculation to the growing sense of unrest. And so, as whispers become headlines, as concern turns to clamor, the rumor persists. The Rangers faithful, those with a heart and history entwined with every match day, are no longer whispering. They are demanding, loudly and publicly, that Russell Martin must go, and soon, before the situation deteriorates further. The atmosphere around the club has taken on a tangible tension, a buzz that feels almost electrical, as if the very air around Ibrox vibrates with anticipation and frustration in equal measure. Inside the club, sources hint at a mixture of defensiveness and caution, a board that appears hesitant to act rashly, but equally aware that fan sentiment is reaching levels that could no longer be ignored without consequence. The narrative being whispered among supporters, commentators, and insiders is that Martin's strategies, his motivational approaches, and perhaps even his communication with key players are all being questioned, dissected with almost surgical precision by those desperate to see a return to form. Meanwhile, rival fans across the city and country are watching, relishing each stumble, each failed counterattack, each draw or defeat that fuels the notion that Rangers under Martin are far from their best. There are discussions, heavily tinged with speculation, about whether the current squad is fully aligned with Martin's vision or whether the results reflect deeper fractures within the dressing room, intangible dynamics that no training session can mend overnight. The rumor mill suggests that talks behind closed doors have been ongoing, that the board and coaching staff are evaluating options, balancing loyalty and long-term strategy against the immediacy of supporter unrest and the risk of further reputational damage. In some circles, there's even murmuring that Martin could face an ultimatum in the coming weeks, that the results in forthcoming fixtures might be pivotal in determining his fate. Observers note that when a club of Rangers history faces such scrutiny, even small lapses become amplified, magnified by the intensity of expectation and the legacy of past glory. And so, amidst speculation and whispered discontent, the scene at Ibrox is charged, restless, a theater where tension and rumor dominate, and where supporters' patience appears to be at breaking point. Fans themselves, it seems, are navigating a complex web of emotions, torn between loyalty to a club they love and anger at performances that fail to reflect the pedigree of the Rangers badge. Online forums, social media threads, and fan podcasts echo with repetitive but impassioned messages, calls for Martin's removal, questions about recruitment, tactical setup, and man management skills. Some voices are cautious, advocating for patience, citing transitional challenges, injuries, or adjustments to a new playing philosophy. Yet these more tempered views are increasingly drowned out by the dominant chorus of discontent. At pubs near Ibrox, discussions are frenetic, every point dissected, every misstep analyzed with a ferocity that speaks to the deep connection supporters have with their team. Even casual observers are drawn into the speculation, curious to see whether the pressure might finally trigger a decisive action by the board, or whether Martin will somehow weather the storm and regain the faith of fans through results alone. There's talk of potential successors, names whispered in hushed tones, debates over whether a change would restore morale or simply exacerbate instability. The narrative, ever-shifting, seems propelled not by facts alone but by perception, emotion, and the collective memory of past triumphs that make any current struggles feel even more acute. As the rumor gains traction, insiders hint at possible meetings between directors and senior figures within the club, consultations conducted in the shadows, away from the public eye, where difficult decisions are being weighed with gravity and foresight. Meanwhile, the media continues to fan the flames, publishing analyses, speculating on scenarios, and amplifying the sense that Martin's position is precarious, all while the supporters' unrest simmers, creating a story that grows by the hour, the day, and the week, feeding a cycle of anticipation and tension around every match, every press conference, every word spoken by those in charge. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Speculation around Russell Martin has now morphed into something almost tangible, a collective anxiety that hovers over Ibrox like a storm cloud waiting to burst, influencing conversations far beyond the immediate fan base. The discussion isn't confined to the terraces. It has seeped into Scottish football culture, becoming a topic of analysis on national shows, a reference point in debates about management, strategy, and club governance. Rumors suggest that even players may feel the weight of expectation and scrutiny, an invisible pressure shaping performances, interactions, and morale. Observers note that this combination of internal tension, external speculation, and historical expectation creates a volatile mix, one where small defeats carry enormous symbolic weight, and where the call for managerial change becomes almost inevitable in the eyes of supporters desperate for reassurance. It is whispered that some senior players might have privately expressed concerns that the disconnect between tactical vision and on-pitch execution is more profound than the public perceives. Meanwhile, Fans in various corners of Glasgow share insights, grievances, and predictions, creating a virtual echo chamber of speculation that amplifies each rumor and turns it into perceived fact. The narrative builds momentum, a story fed not just by results, but by the perception of a club at a crossroads, balancing tradition, ambition, and frustration. The tension is palpable, a cultural undercurrent that transforms match days into arenas of scrutiny, expectation, and dramatic possibility, with every outcome potentially decisive in the ongoing debate about Martin's future and the direction of a club steeped in history and expectation. Inside the corridors of the club, whispers persist that the board is acutely aware of supporter unrest, that conversations behind closed doors are heavy with deliberation, strategy, and the ever-present concern of maintaining unity within the squad. The rumor mill hints that contingency plans are being considered, potential successors evaluated not just on ability, but on compatibility with the club's ethos, fan expectations, and the current dynamics of the squad. Every press conference, every interview, every public statement is being read through a lens of speculation, analyzed for hints of uncertainty, confidence, or deflection, feeding into the cycle of anticipation that now defines the atmosphere around Ibrox. Sources suggest that while Martin retains support from some within the organization, the mounting pressure from fans and media alike is creating a scenario where patience is wearing thin and decisions must be made with both urgency and caution. The narrative grows, propelled by discussion, conjecture, and emotion, until the line between reality and rumor blurs, leaving supporters, journalists, and even some insiders navigating a landscape dominated by anticipation, fear, hope, and the undeniable weight of expectation. And as this storm of speculation intensifies, one thing seems almost certain. The Rangers faithful are no longer content with quiet disappointment, no longer willing to wait indefinitely, and the question of Russell Martin's future looms larger with every passing day, every match, every whisper that travels from terrace to terrace, pub to pub, and heart to heart in the city that lives and breathes Rangers football. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned.